moment, Dr. Francis Guli Walking is carrying out a very special Lenten pilgrimage right here in Essex. And we will find out more right now with the Bishop of Chelmsford. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us on BBC Essex this morning. It is a beautiful morning for a walk, but this Lenten pilgrimage is about much more than a stroll, isn't it?
It is, although I have enjoyed the strolls as well, and not always in sunshine. We've had very mixed weather so far, but yes, there are a number of threads really to it, but it's partly about me putting in place some different routines during Lent to recognise that this is a period of time for kind of reflection and learning, and just to take time aside from the usual routines and the busyness, as it were. And as I'm still fairly new in the diocese, it seemed like a good opportunity to spend some time walking. In total, I'll do about 70 miles from the beginning of Lent through to Maundy Thursday, meeting with people, going to places that I haven't seen, praying with people, having conversations, sharing food, and walking.
So the pilgrimage will take you all the way around the diocese.
It will, although just in patches. It's obviously a huge diocese. It covers not only Essex but also East London. So it's been planned in such a way that I'm visiting different parts and walking in the region of kind of 6 to 8 miles each day. I do this. I'm doing 2 days each week of Lent, and visiting churches during the course of that walk, schools sometimes, and sometimes just walking through the countryside or the roads.
So whereabouts is the pilgrimage taking you to now?
Well, so far I have been to places like Writtle and Roxwell. I've been out to Southend, Leigh-on-Sea, Westcliff. I've been around Hutton and Brentwood and Worley and Halstead, Earl's Cone, and the Four Cones, as we call them. And to Jaywick, most recently Jaywick and Clacton. And then what's still to come is a little bit more in the Colchester area of the diocese, Ramsey and Harwich and so on. And then I'm moving into the Barking area, which is East London, Loughton, Woodford, West Ham, Stratford, Becontree, and so on. And then finishing on Maundy Thursday at the cathedral, where every year we gather bishops and all the clergy to renew our ordination vows and share in a service of Holy Communion.
And part of the pilgrimage, as you said, is the opportunity to meet people, to talk to people, to visit different churches and different groups. What kind of conversations are you having with people and hoping to have? Do they want to listen to you, or is it more important that you get to listen to them?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I think there's been a little bit of both, if I'm honest. I'm going with no agenda at all. I'm not going to kind of talk to, at people or tell them specific things. I'm going
We'll try
of
and get...
listening.
Oh, there we are. Hello again.
Sorry, did you lose me?
We did, but we can hear you loud and clear. So yes,
Okay.
you were saying
Okay.
it's many different kinds of conversations.
It is. It's been a mixture. I have done quite a lot of listening, which is for me the main purpose. But there have also been times when people have wanted to ask me questions or whatever it is. So I've gone really with an open mind. But essentially, for me, I've tried to listen and kind of take in, as it were, both what I'm observing and noticing, but also the things that people are saying to me.
When we talk about pilgrimages, we often think of leaving where we are to go somewhere rather distant, and that epic sense of the journey being part of the pilgrimage. Why did you decide to focus this Lenten pilgrimage here in the diocese itself?
I mean, pilgrimage has all kinds of different purposes, as it were. And you're right, the one that we think of perhaps most traditionally is to go somewhere far away, but not even necessarily far away. There is a sense in which often pilgrimage is about heading towards somewhere specific, somewhere special, somewhere particularly sacred. And in a sense, I'm doing that in a low key way by ending up at the cathedral on Maundy Thursday. But there is also a whole tradition of pilgrimage, which is about the pilgrims leaving the safety of home and simply wandering, not necessarily with any particular destination in mind, but with the expectation that the journey itself will change them somehow and transform them. So I guess I've kind of brought in various different threads, and I'm not doing what you would traditionally think of, but there are elements that definitely tie in with the history of pilgrimage.
We're coming up to a very strange anniversary. Very soon we will mark 3 years since the first lockdown, 3 years since everybody's lives changed forever, 3 years since the way we were able to worship together changed forever. And this is really the first opportunity since then, around Easter and Lent, that you've had to get out and really be with people. How important is it to get out and see people face to face again?
It's been very, very important for me, to get away from the desk, as it were, where inevitably I spend a lot of time, either at my desk or in meetings or and so on, and all of that is important and has its place. But there is nothing quite like getting out, seeing people face to face, going to places, walking the ground beneath the feet, as it were. And it's filled me with hope, really, because there are so many good people doing good things out there, faithfully serving their communities, worshiping God, trying to be the best that they can. And it's often inspirational, to meet people and to hear their stories, and it is a huge encouragement to me as well.
70 miles is a big ask. How are the feet holding up?
Well, it is in small chunks. I have to confess, I'm a fairly, well, I was going to say fair weather walker, although in this season I am going out regardless. But it is quite flat, of course, Essex, fortunately for me, and 8 miles a day is fine. I can cope with that. Anything much more than that, I'd probably start to struggle.
And there are, of course, people that would love to come along and see you, but for whatever reason aren't able to. Is there a way of people following the pilgrimage as it unfolds?
Yes, absolutely. There are some details on the diocesan website, about where I am each of the days, but then Facebook and social media and so on. As I walk, we're posting pictures and saying where we are and what we're doing. So it is possible to join in that way as well.
We've spoken through the programme today about loneliness, and sometimes walking can be a marvellous moment of solitude, but it can also be a time when people's concerns grow on them and rise up again. Do you have a message of support for people? Because we've mentioned all through the morning different communities being affected by loneliness and reflecting on that as we approach the anniversary of the first lockdown.
Yes, absolutely. And walking, I've met people as I've been on this pilgrimage who started walking because they were struggling with loneliness or with poor mental health, and they just got out and started walking. And also, I think the nature of conversations is often different when you're walking. You're kind of doing something, as it were, and not looking people in the eye. So there is a kind of freeing up of the conversation. But I think essentially my message to people who are lonely is that in every community in this land, there are churches. Churches that are willing to welcome you and embrace you and provide you with a community to be part of. And so I encourage people to search that out if they haven't already discovered it.